I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Sheffield Selectboard to order for December 20th, 2021. Our first order of business is to let you know that we're being recorded by CTSB. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand, wait till you're acknowledged, and then go to the podium and let us know your name and address. This meeting obviously is being recorded by CTSB. If you want to record it also, just please so inform the chair. Our first order of business tonight is the approval of 3 sets of meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the select board meetings of December 2nd, 2021, December 6th, 2021, and December 10th, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you, Jill.
Welcome. All those in favor?
Aye.
Again, thank you, Jill, and it's amazing. We're December 20th, and our minutes are being approved for December 10th. That's really, really fast. So our compliments to you, Jill. Our next order of business has to do with possible action after discussion regarding the Kiwanis proposal for sign replacement. And I see that Dave Smith Jr. is here, probably representing Kiwanis.
I am, thank you. So, as you may or may not know, those signs were put up by Kiwanis over the years, and we do have, we're talking about the signs on either end of Berkshire School Road at the Maple Street intersection. There's one on Hewins and Maple or County, which it's down right now because every time we put it up, it gets run over. So I don't know, we're gonna have to talk to Highway Department or something, try and find a better place to put that sign. I don't know why, but I think it's 3 times it's come down. So I believe we have one at 7 and 7A and on the south side of town. But anyway, the 2 on Berkshire School Road have started to fall into some state of disrepair, and we are interested in discussing with the town whether or not we can go ahead and replace those signs and update them, whether we go back, excuse me, with wood, or we go back with some new plastic material that they have that resembles wood, so we don't have the deterioration as we have on those. But I know that there's been some plantings at the intersection of Berkshire School Road and Route 7, so we obviously want to respect those, and a lot of the businesses that are on those signs are gone, but there are other businesses in town, and we're hopeful that with your blessing, we can spend the winter months and into spring soliciting businesses to see if we can find new businesses to go on those signs. We think the directional signs offer a lot to the town, and we'd like to continue to maintain them and put them up. We think it's a great way to use the nickel deposits that we're getting from the transfer station. I think we've raised enough money that we could probably replace those 2 signs next year. We would probably ask somebody local like Larkins to go ahead and do that for us. They did all the ones in New Marlboro. I think they're beautiful. And but we just didn't want to do anything without talking to you first. So we're hopeful that you see it as a positive, and that it's something that you would allow Kiwanis to take a look at replacing in the spring.
Comments?
I think it's a great idea. I think Kiwanis does a great job, and more than happy to see new signs go up.
Yep. Great. I mirror that. I agree. Did the Kiwanis have a preference of the plastic versus wood, or?
I don't think, we haven't really even discussed it. I mean, I do like the ladder style better than the one that was at Maple and Hewin Street, and the one that's at 7 and 7A and in the further south. But if you see the ones in New Marlboro, they are that plastic composite material.
You don't know.
I think they look great.
Yeah.
They don't need to be painted. They, probably pressure wash them every once in a while to make sure that you get the dirt and stuff off of them, but they seem to hold up much better than wood, and so since our numbers are down, we would like to get away from doing as little maintenance as possible and put them up right and have them done right the first time, so.
I think it's a good idea, maybe in the meantime, while you're soliciting new people to go on the sign at Hewens, and County or Maple could be removed. It's been sitting there so sad in the grass for quite some time. I think we are going to have Kiwanis, if this board is in favor of having the sign put back at the Berkshire School 7 intersection. The beautification committee has has nothing to do with the town. It's a separate group of residents who, like Kiwanis, just want to make the town a little bit more attractive. I think they've had that spot now for maybe 2 years. So I think you are going to need to work with them so that we don't hear any issues being brought before the board. Okay, I know Rhonda can tell you who those folks are. I know you know them all. Do you want to come back? So there's no cost to the town because this is all going to be done by sponsorship of various merchants. Do you want to come back in the spring and let us know how you're doing and how many you're looking at on having on each sign?
Correct. That would be our goal before we do anything, obviously, is to come back and give you the best rendering that we can. I'm surely not an artist, but maybe Larkins could put something together for us so that you could see what it was. And hopefully by then we would have some sort of list compiled of those who want to remain on it, those who are going to go away, and hopefully new businesses who are interested.
Okay, great. That sounds good. I'm just wondering if you also have any plans, kind of a different subject, for doing some improvement on the building in Town Park that Kiwanis used. Some of the facing and the siding is looking a little weathered, and I don't know if you've discussed that at all.
I haven't. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been over to the shed in quite a while, but I'll go over.
I think that's the issue. We haven't really had much going on over
Right.
there. Yeah, so if you...
I'll go over and get a look at it.
Great, that would be wonderful.
See if there's something that we can do, sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Anything else? Otherwise, we will wish you good luck, and then we will see you maybe in the spring or in May when you feel that you're ready to come back.
Terrific.
All right,
Thank you very much, I
Dave.
appreciate it.
Righty.
Thank you, Dave.
Next item is approval of alcohol licenses for 2022. Rhonda, would you help us with this, please?
So the board has to approve alcohol licenses, and then they get sent into the state for approval. So I can read the list if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Berkshire Mountain Distillers, a farmer distillery pouring permit. Big Elm Brewery, a farmer winery pouring permit. Sunset Meadow North LLC, farmer winery pouring permit. Silk's Variety, all alcohol package store. Barn Space Catering, all alcohol, beverages restaurant. The Bridge, all alcohol beverages restaurant. The Marketplace Cafe, wine and malt alcoholic beverages restaurant. Stagecoach Tavern, all alcoholic beverages inn/hotel. Racebrook, wine and malt alcoholic beverages inn/hotel. American Legion Post 340, all alcohol beverages blanket, one-day club license. The only one that did not renew this year is Blue Door Cafe, and they had a wine and malt license as well.
So we need to approve this before it goes to the state, so is there a motion to do so?
I make a motion that we approve the list of licenses as read.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Rhonda. Next item is the appointment of a Conservation Commission member, and, no, what am I missing? Oh, we have a lot more. I'm sorry, we have another 2 pages of different licenses. So, we have gone over the first group. So now we're into antiques and second-hand goods. Is there anyone who would care to read this?
I'd be happy to.
Go ahead, Martin, please, thank you.
For antiques and secondhand goods, we have Bloom Kids Consignment, Mix on Main, Shirley Snyder, Ray Gunn, Linda Rosen Antiques, Samuel Harrop Antiques, Tribeca Antiques and Collectibles, Painted Porch Antiques LLC, Campo di Fiori Inc., Great Finds, Corner House Antiques Inc., Antique Center of Sheffield, Falconwood Antiques, Angus Books, Yesterday's Treasures and Gifts, La Trianon, and Susan Silver Antiques. For Class 1 motor vehicles, we have Berkshire GMC Inc. and Pete's Sales and Service. For Class 2 motor vehicles, we have Bicchetti's Auto Sales Inc. at 1924 North Main Street and Bicchetti's Auto Sales Inc. at 1233 County Road, and we also have Watson Automotive. For Class 3 automotive, we have Casavant Repair, Bicchetti's Auto Sales, George Milkey Sr., Ray's Auto Parts LLC, Custom Classics Repair and Restoration, and Watson Automotive. For entertainment, we have Barnspace Catering and the Sheffield Friendly Union. For inn holders, we have Stagecoach Tavern, Racebrook Lodge, Sheffield 1802 House. For lodging houses, we have Sheffield Lodge, Stavely House, and 10 dormitories at Berkshire School. For the storage of inflammable material, we have John B. Hull, Inc., Pete Sales and Service, Galata Brothers, Inc., and Carlson Heating and Air Conditioning, Inc. And again, not renewing this year is Blue Door Market and Cafe.
Rhonda, after the alcohol licenses, have all these people said they're ready to renew their licenses?
No, these are the ones that are up for renewals.
Okay, because I see at least one where the people have moved. All right. The second item is on the entertainment licenses. We usually put some sort of hours and days of the week. So,
None of that changes from year to year. It's all listed on the license.
okay, do we remember what those were? I know we've got, all right. I think what I'd like to do is, I don't want to hold those licenses, but I'd like to just, at our meeting on, January 3rd, I'd like to just go over that, because we have had issues with people complaining about noise and that. We haven't had it for a while, I don't think, but I just want to make sure we know those hours and days. So if either of those, this starts on January 1st?
It does.
Okay, so maybe we could have that just for our, maybe we could just know that for our meeting tomorrow. I don't want to hold up anybody's license, but I also, if the hours and days look extensive, I think I want to have the board at least look at this before they go out. So do we have a motion to approve what was just read? And thank you, Martin.
Sure.
I'll make a motion to approve them as read.
And I'll second that, again, subject to any discussion on the time for entertainment.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Our next, let me see if I'm where I need to be. Our next item is the appointment of a Conservation Commission member. Would you help us again, Rhonda, please?
So you have one opening because of the resignation of one member. And so at last meeting, you announced Anya Rossoff and George O'Lean to fill the slot. So tonight you need to make the appointment from one of those two.
Whomever is not appointed is still
And
an alternate. All right, so everybody's in this. So we need a nomination for our vacant Conservation Commission member.
I would nominate Anya Rossoff.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Action regarding resignation of our facilities manager. Rhonda, please.
So we received a letter from Charles Lockenwith on December 7th saying that he's resigning from all of his positions with the town as of that day.
Motion to accept his resignation.
Second, with a letter of thanks.
Is that all right with you?
That's fine.
That's okay, so we have an amended motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Our next item is discussion possible action on proposed zoning bylaw change regarding group homes. I think if I can take this one, all right. We are going to be presenting at our special town meeting the general bylaws, which have not been, the town's general bylaws, which have not been updated since 2001. Bylaws have been added, but the contextual nature of it, if you look on the website, it lists 2001. So we have been working with town council on this for a while, and the select board went through it painstakingly after our first feedback from town council. And one of the things that came out is a section that's in our general bylaws called community residences. Now they're kind of called community homes or group homes. And our legal staff recommended that this is really a zoning issue and it does not belong in the general bylaws. So after working with legal on this and also with BRPC, it was kind of reviewed with Mark Rich. And what we have in front of us is a extremely simple recommendation that what we're seeing, if the board will approve tonight, is to send to Ken Smith, who's the chair of the planning board, and the rest of the members, and ask them basically to take this up, go through the public hearing process, and have this to be considered whether it makes it for the special town meeting or whether it makes it for the annual town meeting. And what it looks to do, and copies of this are available for anybody who wants it, but what we're proposing with legal's endorsement or review is that we treat group home, which is kind of what they're called now, the same way that we do any exempt use like daycare, etc. And we just ask them to put a section in the use table where exempt uses are handled, allow it across the board as by right, which through legislation it has to be, and then just say refer to section 10 for definitions, and then define it as group home exempt, use of land or structures for a group home as defined by MGL Chapter 40A Section 3. No long words, no nothing, just get it into the table, define it the same way that we do agriculture exempt, etc. And this is what the board is asked to think about tonight. If you haven't had a chance to review it, we can delay it to the next meeting. But if you have and you're ready to take action, positive or negative, that would be good.
I make a motion to send it on to the planning board.
I'll second that.
Okay, great. Is there any further discussion? I don't think this would make this Wednesday's agenda, but possibly the first meeting in January, and this will be on its way. All right.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next we have discussion of a date for a special town meeting, which we set at the last meeting, potentially for January 18th.
Correct.
Which was the Tuesday after Martin Luther King Day. So Rhonda, we have further discussion on this?
Well, there was some discussion amongst Renee and I about possibly delaying that until February to give the planning board the chance to hold all of the public hearings that they have scheduled and to make sure that everything is all set and ready to go for a special town.
They have a couple of, this is one item, whether this makes it to February, January, or May, but there is the issue of the marijuana bylaw that was overturned by the AG's office. And I think there's some thought that they're working on that. I think they're going to be holding a meeting on that this Wednesday. So I think what we'd like to do is just leave it open for the moment, rescind our January 18th date. It seems like it's coming very fast, but just hold that in abeyance a bit, and possibly this will be February. And as soon as we know what's going on, did we get free cash certified yet?
It's certified by the state, but they haven't given us official notification yet.
And that's the other thing that we really need before going to town meeting. So if we'll all be patient, we know we're going to get this done. It's just a matter of getting everything lined up so it's a meaningful meeting. So we're good?
Good.
Rhonda, do we need a motion to rescind the
Yes,
18th?
I'll make a motion that we rescind the prior approved special town meeting date of January 18th with a new date to be determined.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Next, we have discussion possible action regarding the proposal for specification for the police department roof. Rhonda, would you like to bring us up to date on this, please?
So the last proposal that you had in front of you, Bob, had some questions regarding engineering. So we've reached out to EDM and sent the answers over to Bob, and I think you were satisfied with what you have here now. So what was changed is, I believe under assumptions number 4 that's bolded, that they will include a unit price allowance in the bid package for removal and replacement of the existing roof sheathing, assuming 25% of roof area. Structural engineer will review exposed decking during construction to designate areas of replacement.
And I think that was a really good comment that Bob made. So we have some contingency for the likelihood of structural engineering being required. So before we vote on this, and Rhonda, where is this money coming from?
So there's some money that was set aside years ago for, oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of something totally different.
So now there's another pot of
Yes.
money, okay.
This will come out of the Buildings and Grounds article that we vote on each year for repairs to town buildings. So there's enough in there to cover this proposal.
Okay, and this, as people may know, the side flat part of the roof where we used to enter the library when that was the library had to be repaired earlier this fall, but the whole roof is in not in good shape. So this will take a look at that and write up a specification, because we've had bid estimates that range from a very small to a very large number, and what's really in between. So everybody will be bidding on the same thing. So does the board wish to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal from EDM for the scope of services defined in the December 16th, 2021 letter as revised.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just, what are we thinking about the timing? When would they propose to have the scope ready? Do we know roughly?
I don't have that answer, Martin. I can
That's
check
okay.
with them.
When I talked with Tim, we were really hoping that, it would be, I understood the first of the year.
Okay.
Okay, we just need to get in queue.
Right.
They're quite busy, but we need to get ourselves in queue. And he knows that we were taking it up at this meeting.
Good.
Okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We next have an update or report, on our senior work-off program for 2021.
So the program has just ended. It runs from December 1st to November 30th of each year. So this past year, we had 6 volunteers who provided 486 hours of work to the town. And the total exemption that the town will give out, not to each one, but just total overall, is $6,570.97. Now, we are always looking for more people who want to join the program, so anyone interested should give me a call or an email or stop in, and we would be happy to discuss the requirements and find a position that would fit for them.
Wonderful. I know every one of these 6 volunteers really provided not only needed services, but extremely valuable services, and did so from everything that I got as feedback in a really professional, wonderful, collaborative manner with the department that they were working with. So we definitely thank them. And again, the people that I've seen that are in the senior work-off, they seem to be having a really nice time. They seem to enjoy their work. So if there's someone out there who's just been looking and would qualify, because there are qualifications on this, it can be a very meaningful way to contribute to your community, get paid in terms of a tax deduction or write-off, and also, have a chance to get out a bit and work with people and do some significant work. So, don't know if either of you wanted to add anything?
No, I think you said it all.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we send these 6 individuals a letter of thanks from the select board.
I'll second that.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Martin.
I'll draft that.
So next, discussion, possible action regarding meeting format, or minutes, meeting formats. So this is the continued discussion between in-person or Zoom or a hybrid, which we have discussed before. We haven't figured out where the money would come from to hire someone to provide the technical assistance that needs to do a decent combination of hybrid. We don't have any IT support. What are both of you hearing?
I'm hearing demand for a hybrid methodology if we can do it, because there are people that don't want to be able to come to meetings at night in person, and they would like to attend the meetings. But again, we've talked about the difficulties with hybrid meetings, but there seems to be demand out there for it, at least from some of our town residents.
I would say there's definitely demand for it. I still have problems with the technical issues, and some of our meetings have had to be reheld because of the technical issues. It does pose a problem, possibly, not always, but there seems to have been some issues in the start. I think, if we go forward with a hybrid, we need a much better system than what we have now.
And we also need somebody to run it, because there's none of us who can be looking at Zoom and managing that, and we have no visual displays or anything of that sort. I'm wondering if this is something that, I know some of the other communities do it. I know Egremont has got that OWL thing. I know the school district has got that. I'm wondering, I don't want to give any work to anybody else that's at this table. Do we have a senior work-off person available who might be able to make some calls and find out how that works?
We might.
Okay, so maybe let's do that. I don't know if, Chris Thompson, I know, is the head of the technology at the high school. He's probably also on vacation right now, but I could, if the board wants me to, I could reach out to him and see if he has someone on his, maybe a student staff, who might be interested in giving this group of older people a hand as to how to move forward with this. Would that
Sounds
be
like a
all
good
right?
idea.
Okay.
I'd be in favor of that.
And if there's someone out there who has an idea, maybe we ought to invite their participation, not more the you should, we get plenty of that, but the we can approach. We could use this technology. It would involve this. I could do that. That's the kind of discussion that is good, rather than the you should, because that all comes back to us and we don't know how to do it, or we would have done it. So are we okay on that for the time being? Again, depending on what happens with the COVID numbers, we may have to consider something that's a little bit different going forward, but we'll get to that later. Okay, any other discussion on that? So again, we are looking for assistance. We're just looking for assistance that's doable, or knows who to talk to, rather than ideas about how it could be done. We need some concrete information here. So the holiday schedule. Rhonda?
So just as a reminder, Town Hall will be closed on December 24th, December 27th, and December 31st. That is outside of the Wednesday. We will also be closed. I believe that would be the 29th, just as our regular closed to the public employees will be here. But we've never talked about the transfer station. So the transfer station will be closed on Christmas Day, 12/25, and New Year's Day, January 1st. And we will not be collecting any mattresses in the month of January. So if you have mattresses to dispose of, just hold on to them till February and we'll be back in operation with that.
Okay. Frank, do you think we need to get a temporary sign to put over the mattress collection for that, for missing January?
I'm sorry.
I'll catch you after the meeting, okay? I'll catch you after the meeting, all right? All right, so our next item is just a COVID update, and there are no recommendations, but just some discussion. I had brought up a couple of meetings ago that I was getting very concerned about the rise in cases. Our last 2 weeks were 21. Before that, it was 11. Before that, it was less than 5, and then it was 0. So we're kind of trending upward. Rhonda, is this information about Kathy Loring at the Senior Center has done a lot of work in putting together some of the pop-up drive-through rapid COVID-19 testing.
I think that was the Board of Health and the.
Oh, was this the Board of Health?
Nurses.
Well, thank you, Pat. So is this going up on our website?
Sorry,
It's already up there, great. I know Kathy was then telling me today that CHP is going to be there, I think someday this week, maybe Wednesday.
Okay.
Is that correct?
I don't know.
Okay, so the Senior Center is working with CHP to have the van there to do boosters. I just don't remember what day it was this week, but you can call the Senior Center, 229-7037. Also, it does look like, of course, the hospital, Fairview Hospital is doing shots, COVID-19 and boosters. But most of them these days have to be by registration, even at Big Y. You used to be able to just walk in and get your booster. Now you have to register. So if you're looking for that booster, it's out there. It just takes a little bit more work. But I'm kind of, concerned about, and I wanted to bring it up to the board, kind of concerned about what's going to happen when we come back from the holidays. I know I've got people from California and Oregon, and New York will be coming in, so I've got family coming in, and we've all tested, we've all got our shots, but I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't necessarily want to close anything in advance, but I think we better just watch the numbers and maybe be prepared when we have our meeting on the 3rd as to what we're going to do. That's my concerns.
Yeah, there's no other way to approach it. We have to see where the numbers go. And we can't forecast what that'll be. I think there's a reasonable expectation the numbers are going to go up significantly over the next, at the end of this week and next week.
I'm afraid that might be true, but Bob, any comments? We just watch?
Basically, yes, there's a good possibility with all our gatherings and our holidays and the new variant, which just became the dominant from what I heard on the news tonight, which happened fairly quickly. There could be issues, but right now I think it's in a safe enough place as long as we follow protocols that we should be fine. We'll watch the numbers.
So we'll take this up. Pat, you want to?
Yeah. Pat Levine, 261 East Main Street, Chair of the Board of Health. The most important thing that any individual can do at this point is encourage everyone to get vaccinated and to get their booster shots. That's what's controlling the expansion of the virus and the mutation that's going to happen in the future if we have too much vulnerability in the community. There was just a release from the State Department of Health talking about the fact that those who are vaccinated, and in particular those with boosters, have a 97% less chance of harm from the corona, or from any of the viruses and its mutation at this point, and are not dying, are not being hospitalized. Their symptoms are significantly less, often a cold or a sore throat kind of thing. And that those who are not vaccinated have a 4 times higher risk of hospitalization and death. So we really need to get the word out there as strongly as we can that vaccinations make sense and save lives. To help your issue of what happens after the holidays, unfortunately, the library's pop-up testing site for Sheffield on the 23rd, Thursday of this week, is already full. There were only 60 slots and they went bang. There are slots open for before New Year's, the 30th. There's another pop-up clinic from 8 to 10. That still has slots available for people who are coming back from Christmas holidays, may have had exposure to an unknown group of people, whatever. But sign up for a test that day and do it now, and you'll get valid results within an hour or two, I think is what they're predicting, to give you a call or an email with the results of that test.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do for it. And while I'm on that topic, I want to thank Dina Caswell, director of the library, for her quick response in picking up this community effort, and also to Chief Munson for his willingness to help with the traffic control on that.
Great. I know when my family came in, we called just down by the police station to get tested at the Berkshire Health Systems testing, and that was last Friday, and they were booked through Tuesday of this week. So there was already a 4 or 5 day waiting period. We went to Big Y and bought the tests because we have family coming up that won't come up unless we're all tested, as negative. And the test isn't very hard to take. It's pretty simple, in about 15 minutes. And the governor has bought a ton of tests, which I guess after the first of the year, we should be hearing about how he may be making those available for a charge to town. So we're going to have to be taking that up in January. I don't know if anything's going to happen before then. I'm not sure there's anyone who's out there who doesn't know the value of the shots and the booster. It's just, whether they've decided to do it or not, and their children. But again, if you're looking to get those shots or booster, call a pharmacy or Fairview Hospital. I guess, in Pittsfield, they did it at BCC and they did 1,000 shots in one day. So they are out there. You just have to unfortunately work to get it. It's just not a walk-in situation. I hope it will become that soon.
They had thought that they were going to have a couple of hundred, and they kept expanding on both ends of the day, and finally had to stop at 1,000. They will be doing another clinic in January. The date hasn't been set, but the demand is so high, which is great. So let's keep talking about it and talking it up. The other things, of course, are masks and distancing, equally important.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pat. Anything else? Then we'll just take this up on the 3rd, but we're just kind of conditioning ourselves to what may be unfortunately coming up. All right, board member items. How about you, Bob?
I'm good.
How about you, Martin?
I'm good.
Well, I'm going to wish everyone a happy holidays and a happy new year. I don't know quite all what it's going to bring. I just wanted to give a very quick grant update. We did receive one of the 2 things that we requested from the Massachusetts Office of Disability. They did not give us the patio at the back of the library, but they did give us something I'm very excited about, a grit all-terrain wheelchair. And this, once we receive it, will be housed at the Library of Things, and we'll do a little bit of a promotion on it. But this is a wheelchair that can either be arm-driven by the person in the grit chair, or it can be pushed and it can go over, I saw videos of it going up mountain rocks or sand or even tanglewood or places where there's a bit of a rough terrain. So I'm kind of really excited because I think this is going to open up a new avenue for participation and enjoyment by those who would possibly be prevented from going to a family outing or a concert or a hike because their current chair is not sufficiently engineered to allow them either to take themselves or to be assisted by a member of their family. So we will see that maybe in about another month. We have to see what their supply chain is like. And then I'm still hoping that Santa's going to bring us the fire department EMS rescue vehicle from the USDA Emergency Rural Health Grant. That's was supposed to have been awarded, or at least the award's made, but we're still waiting, but I'm still hopeful. So, town administrator items.
I have one. So the town has received a $1,000 grant from the Donald C. McGraw Foundation / Black Rock Foundation Fund from the Berkshire Taconic Foundation, Community Foundation. And it's been recommended an acknowledgement should be sent to Robin and Buzz McGraw in Sheffield. So we'd like to thank them for their donation, and I'll send them a letter of thanks.
Are we good on that?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Thank them for their contribution to the town expenses. So, public comments. If you'd like to, just please approach the podium. Let me know your name, where you live. 3-minute limit.
Hello everyone, I'm Patrick Silk from Sheffield. Hope everyone's doing well. Me and my mother Susan just had questions about a letter from the Board of Health actually. And it was our understanding that the Board of Health is overseen by our Selectman's office, correct? And last week there was we got the letter on December 1st stating that a milk and cream license involved an inspection that was $100 per inspection twice a year. And this is also the same, we got the same letter regarding tobacco. And our main concern was that we received the letter December 1st, and then when we called the town hall, we had questions about it, and we were told that this matter was voted on December 16th by the Board of Health. And our main questions were how a business should prepare for these inspections. We are inspected by the state at random to make sure our tobacco operations are done properly, meaning we have our license visible and signage regarding ID and the age of purchase. And then my second question would be how a business should prepare for the inspection for the dairy with the ice cream freezer. It's only prepackaged goods. This isn't like a soft serve or like a hard scoop. This is all like ice pops that are we buy already packaged. And our last question was the cost of these inspections. There's a lot of businesses in town with these inspections, and we were just wondering, is the cost of the inspection to cover like a third party inspecting us, or is it gonna be used in the town for things such as like the food pantry and whatnot? Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, so the Selectman's office oversees the Board of Health like any other, all right?
Correct.
We're not into their day-to-day activities unless something comes up. But we did approve with a number of exceptions their request for the increase in license fees. It sounds to me like these are more procedural matters, which this board is not equipped to answer because we're not into the procedures of the Board of Health. You do have the chair of the Board of Health over here in Pat Levine, and you have a second member of the Board of Health here in Martin Mitzoff. So you have two of the board members here, which does not constitute a quorum. But I'm just thinking that as selectmen, we're not in a position where we can do procedural work or answer procedural questions that should be directed to either the Board of Health or the Planning Board or the Conservation Commission. It is best to go see or contact those boards. And
I
where
fully
am I on
agree.
this?
It's not in our purview to know the procedures and routines of the Board of Health.
Okay, so
Now, what we do want, just let me finish, what we do want is to make sure that you get your answers in a timely fashion.
Correct.
Just as we want to make sure that every board or commission serves our residents the way they deserve to be served. So what I would recommend is, just let's try this as an idea. Pat, if you're willing to meet with the Silks after this meeting?
Yes.
You can get their questions and you can make arrangements, whatever you would like to do in terms of getting them answered and explained. And if you find that you do not get the answers, may not get the answers you want, but that if you don't get this taken care of, that you are getting your answers in a timely fashion, you can call our town administrator and we will address it. But we're not in a position where we can discuss whether this inspection is, I didn't think it was $100, but they can clarify the information. And let's have that take place right after this meeting if possible. All right, that's about the best we can do at this moment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to comment under public comments? All right, then let's have a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. This closes this meeting.